Welcome to the Awesemo Early Bird Podcast. It's your old pal Emac coming to you with one Adam Ship, my money share. As we get ready for Tuesday NBA action, we have a six-gamer here. We'll go by position on the Early Bird Podcast. Adam, I covered for Stratford on yesterday's pod. I got to meet the one and only Chris Randone of Bachelor Nation fame.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've done a show with Chris yet.
I don't know that you have. Yeah, he's kind of he's doing more football stuff. It seems like so. But in any event, very nice fella. Get to know. He called me a legend. He said, "Oh, I remember you back from the Roto Grinders days." So, said, "Yeah, I've been around forever." But there we are. So that was kind of fun. It's always fun when we switch up the pairings, just because it makes things a little different. And you're stuck with me and Josh for pretty much all, and Lofty for all your shows. And you do so many of the shows, even when we think we're switching it up for you, it's really not being changed.
Yeah, I basically do shows with three different people. So, well, no, four, because Alex does the deeper dive on Fridays now.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, good. That'll be a good one. Oh, you guys giving Lofty a break there during NFL?
Yeah.
That's nice. You know, at FanVice, we didn't give him a break.
Yeah. He at FanVice, he had to write articles on the big slates and do all the shows.
Yeah, that's okay though, because that was a past chapter. But here we are. Now he's married and he's becoming more wise in the ways of the world. But we got a six-gamer here. Let's see, what do we have for injury news? Trae Young has been out for a couple games with this sprained ankle. He is now at the questionable status. Domantas Sabonis, questionable. He has been dealing with a bruised calf. We should potentially, we'll see. Steven Adams. Now, when Steven Adams is hurt, does that mean a limb has actually fallen off of him?
Yeah, it takes a lot to get him out.
So we'll have to see. Even though they say he's questionable, I'm not entirely sure he is. So for him to miss games, it's got to be something big. So we'll check that, because that, of course, is the Nerlens Noel play. Justice Winslow's missed a few games with the sore lower back. We still have a questionable Will Barton. You've got Avery Bradley, who dropped a bunch of points the other night, but of course couldn't really get any assists because he plays with LeBron. He's got a bruised leg. I think those are all of the main ones that are of any import. We'll catch the rest of them as we go by position here. But Adam, it is point guard. We don't have the gimme of one James Harden. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. And by the way, it still blows my mind looking at DraftKings and seeing LeBron James as a point guard.
Yeah, not that it's wrong, but it's still weird. But I will say that 9,600 for LeBron against the Bulls is not the gimme that Harden was last night, but still a pretty easy decision, especially when you consider that on DraftKings he has small forward eligibility as well.
I had the perfect chance to make a joke and I didn't, Adam. You should be proud of me. I saved you from that one.
Appreciate that.
Saved all of us, I guess, is a better way to say it. All right, why can't I get to my? I've got 2 minutes. I've got all these Microsoft windows that are saying dialog boxes are open somewhere. Oh, because I didn't save that one. All right. I wanted to get my Yahoo pricing up because, of course, Yahoo is the presenting sponsor. We'll let DK be the guide here, but definitely cover Yahoo towards the end because they have some very unique pricing that you're going to want to hear about. But top guys over there, just to get us started, are Anthony Davis, 52, LeBron, 50, Trae Young, 44, Jokic, 44, and then everybody else is 36, or pardon me, is 40 or below. But we'll talk about them in due time. So, Adam, as we start out our journey here at point guard, some of the more traditional guys, does anybody pop here for you on our first foundational look here at the slate? Is it?
Yeah, I think Kemba is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been rostering him much at all this year because we've just had so many stacked point guard slates, and he doesn't give you the assist numbers that other point guards do. But this, I think, is a really favorable matchup for him. He has the highest usage rate on the team so far this season at 29.4%, but he's always one of the leaders in pick and roll possessions in the NBA. The Cavs so far this year have allowed the fifth most points per possession to pick and roll ball handlers. So sets up as a nice matchup for Kemba, and it happens to come on a slate where you don't have quite as many of those guys at the top. With it only being a 6-game slate, you don't have that really stacked position up there.
Yeah, that it's kind of interesting. And the thing about Kemba, remember we we thought he was starting off slow. Well, that was just one and a half games, shall we say. That first game against Philly, 34 minutes, 16 fantasy points. The second game against Toronto, 36 minutes, 40 fantasy points. He's now averaging 50 fantasy points over his last three games. He's averaging 35 minutes over that those same contests. He's doing quite nicely with his new team, and the Cleveland, as you mentioned, not the best defense and not the slowest team out there either. So I agree, that one is kind of interesting. As we continue down the pricing list here, we'll try to pick out some of the more traditional point guard guys, save some of these others for shooting guards. You've got Terry Rozier going against Indiana. He has just been getting hefty shot volume and solid, though not spectacular, assists. So he's someone I'm curious for your take on. How would you compare him going against a DeJounte Murray, who's probably going to be limited to about 25 minutes, and he won't be playing back-to-backs as he recovers from that ACL surgery, but he is, even in those limited minutes, already has 3 of his 5 games with over 40 fantasy points. He's priced up there, so the margin of error is not that great. And speaking of not that great, what the hell happened to Chris Paul? What do you like here? What is your assessment of this secondary mid-tier?
So I want to go to Malcolm Brogdon first because he is absolutely phenomenal. He's got a nice matchup against the Hornets, who are one of the worst teams in the league. He's playing huge minutes. He leads Indiana with a 26.7% usage percentage. He has a massive 46.8% assist percentage. And he's averaging 33.6 minutes per game. In competitive games, you're getting 35, 36 minutes. So I think that you still kind of see people shy away from Brogdon a little bit because it's it seems like a high price point, but he's getting all the opportunities in the world with this team and has a good matchup. So I really like Brogdon. And then not too far below him, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in a tough matchup against Orlando. Not one of the faster teams, pretty decent defensive team, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has really taken on a huge scoring load for Oklahoma City this year. And you mentioned Chris Paul. We've seen that have a negative effect on Paul. Gilgeous-Alexander, 26.2% usage rate, averaging 35 minutes per game, 15.6% assist percentage, also grabbing a decent amount of rebounds for a guard with a 9.3% rebounding percentage. So not a great matchup, but I think that I prefer Gilgeous-Alexander to DeJounte Murray on a minutes limit or Chris Paul in that same tough matchup. And then Rozier, I think, is pretty comparable to Gilgeous-Alexander because he plays big minutes as well. And even though the matchup against Indiana isn't great, he does get a lot of opportunities for the Hornets.
All right. Well, you ruined it because I was going to save those other 2 guys for shooting guard. But go ahead. Go ahead. Kick sand on me. That's fine. Now we're back to the more traditional point guards here. You got as we mentioned, the limited minutes there with DeJounte Murray. Chris Paul has just been incredibly disappointing. The question is he not motivated or has Father Time caught up? And then you've got Jamal Murray, who has not dropped a monster. He's yet. He's only topped 30 fantasy points once in his last 4 games. That's kind of disappointing there, but he is going against Miami, and again, they are playing at one of the faster paces this season. What is your assessment from those guys?
Miami, as you said, playing really fast. The issue with Murray is just that he's so scoring dependent. You have Jokic taking on such a big role as a playmaker. If Murray's not knocking down his shots, it's tough for him to pay off his price tag. But that being said, he is capable of just going nuts as a scorer. So he's just like a tough guy because from a medium projection standpoint, he's not going to be a great play at a mid $6,000 salary, but he still has 45, 50 fantasy point upside. So he's someone that I like rostering in tournaments when he's low owned, and I like being underweight when he's popular just because he is so scoring dependent.
All right, let's look at some of the bargains here. Too many windows open. Coming down to the bottom, you've got Kendrick Nunn, who only got 19 minutes in the last game. Of course, if we get Winslow back, that could potentially curb some of his appeal there. See what I did? Curb appeal. That was a real estate joke. Goran Dragic, marginal, but he is 5,400. Colin Sexton going against Boston, he's 5,500. Any of these guys pop for a point per dollar perspective? Perhaps a Jordan Clarkson as we get ready to move on to shooting guard.
Not really. I don't think any of them seem all that appealing. They just seem pretty correctly priced to me.
Markelle Fultz. Look, I wanted to look at his game log. He's making shots.
Yeah, he's starting now.
Um,
I mean, his first game as a starter, he disappointed, but he was also facing the Nuggets, which is a really tough matchup. He played 25 minutes. We had seen him and Augustine pretty much splitting minutes anyway, but I think that this is a pretty nice spot to get on board and hope that people shy off because of his game against Denver.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, his game logs are not terrible by any stretch. The minutes aren't quite there, but what I like to see is the shooting. He on the season from the field to 47%. He is where's his free throws? He's made 5 of his 7 free throws. That's 71%. That was, of course, one of the problems last year. So perhaps he's starting to turn this around. Wouldn't that be something if they got him for a song there in Orlando? On to shooting guard here. We've got the crossover there with Malcolm Brogdon. You've got Jimmy Butler up near the top. I just want to see, he did 27 minutes in that last game on Sunday, which was the non-competitive ass whooping of Houston. You've got Zach Lavine up there, but he has not really given us a good game. I don't really like any of these guys up at the top, Adam.
Yeah,
outside of Brogdon, who you already mentioned.
Right, yeah, I already talked about Brogdon. Not the best position at the top. Really difficult matchup for Butler against a slow Denver team. DeRozan, I think, is really losing a lot of opportunities to DeJounte Murray, who's just very involved as a rebounder and a passer. I think that you're seeing DeRozan's peripheral numbers really come down. Zach Lavine against the Lakers, I do like. He's going to get up a bunch of shots, should play hopefully like 34 minutes. And most importantly, his salaries really come down. So out of those guys at the top, excluding Brogdon, I like Lavine the most.
All right, a little bit more appealing down here as we get below 6,000. You've got Tyler Hero coming in at 5,800. He has been pretty good, light years better than I expected. Of course, a lot of that is just getting access to 30 to 35 minutes a game. Again, he could be one of the guys that gets a little crimp as everybody gets healthy. Therefore, Miami, you've got Devontae Graham, who's had some decent games. He's continuing to put up in the upper 20s, low 30s for minutes, and he's scoring a fantasy point per minute. That's decent. And then Evan Fournier. This could be one of those days, Adam, where unlike Monday, we have to kind of consider Fournier as a value play at 4,900 for his potential 25 to 30 fantasy points. It looks like the matchups and injuries are not giving us a pick'em like we saw on Monday. Anything else here as we close out the 2 guard?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Fournier. He's through 6 games. He has a 27% usage rate, leading the team. I expect that to come down as Vooch's usage goes up, but he is, very involved offensively here, and he's pretty inexpensive and usually pretty low owned.
Have you ever Googled his name?
I have not.
Have you thought about it?
Have not.
Are you aware of his nickname?
Very aware.
Okay. Don't do it. I may know somebody that did it.
Was that you?
It was on accident too. And I had talked about it a couple shows ago, how I didn't realize its nickname really was Never Google.
Yeah.
And then I hit the wrong button because I wasn't paying attention and I actually Googled. So don't ever do that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm still going to have nightmares from that one. In any event, let's move on to small forward and talk about better things. LeBron James, 9,600. We hit on that one, but that is a very nice price point. You've got Jason Tatum here, who is averaging 22 points, just shy of 8 rebounds, 40 fantasy points per game. That is a good price. I do like the matchup for him against Cleveland. And then I know it's a slow one. No, we can't really go to Danilo Gallinari. I like what I see, but now I look at his game logs and he has not topped 30 fantasy points since opening night. I must just be coming in on watching the games when he's doing well, because while he is still getting decent shots up, yeah, His scoring has been there, not much else. So let's forget about him. Ooh, how about a Jeremy Lamb? Feels like he would be familiar with some of the guys on Charlotte going against them. I'm liking Jeremy Lamb. Shooting guard, small forward, eligible on DraftKings. That gets you 5 spots of your 9 on the roster that you can slot him into. What do you want to do at small forward?
Yeah, I'm with you on Lamb. Just should play 30, 32 minutes here. Favorable matchup against Charlotte. I also think Gordon Hayward remains a good option. Jaylen Brown still out, facing a weak Cleveland defense. You're getting tons of minutes from Hayward now. Seems to be fully healthy, after last season. So Hayward and Lamb both stand out.
All right, and sorry, 8 spots. I think I said 9. I had baseball on the brain there. Let's see, cruising down to the bottom half. Talk to me about TJ Leaf. I know you had a poor experience with him the other day, and then in his next game, he went out with a 13 and 15 and just destroyed, but nobody really played him. Because why would you play TJ Leaf? What are we seeing that could be something that makes you interested in him? Does this entirely hinge on the health of Sabonis?
Yeah, and even if Sabonis is out, I still don't think Leaf's that interesting. He still only played 22 minutes against Chicago, where he had the big game. He didn't foul out or anything. Came off the bench. You had Batadze at the start, and in the game prior to that, we saw that Indiana just kind of continued to play Sabonis a bunch of minutes at the 4, alongside Batadze, who played 25 minutes. So Leaf's never been a great fantasy producer. He averages 0.9. He averaged 0.9 points per minute last year. So you really need a lot of minutes out of him, and you're probably not going to get it.
All right, now get 2 more guys here for you. 3 more in the super cheap, just because we'll need some placeholder value. You've got Tomas Satoransky at 4,400. He's getting about 26, 27 minutes per game. Going against Lakers. Thaddeus Young, same thing. He's getting about 26 to 28 minutes per game. And then you've got Kevin Huerter, who is now up to about a 25-minute limit, but has not really uncorked one yet. He's going against San Antonio. Any of these guys in that sub 5K range, maybe a Terrence Ross, Duncan Robinson if he gets another start. Do you like any of our potential value guys here?
Terrence Ross is always someone I'm willing to take a shot on, just because he will shoot the ball, and if he gets hot, he can close games. So it's never a safe play. It's not the kind of guy you want to go to in cash games, but it can be tough finding guys that actually have legitimate scoring upside among cheap options, and Ross certainly does. So I think that he's fine.
All right, power forward. Here's where we got some interesting stuff. We've mentioned Sabonis still dealing with that calf injury, but they are listing him as questionable. You have John Collins has been dealing with the sore / sprained ankle, but he went through a full practice. He is listed as questionable, but expected to play. Those are the main injury concerns we have there. Plus Wendell Carter Jr., who is, let's see, something about his thumb, I think. Yes, so let's see. I don't remember. Oh, sprained left thumb. I didn't know if it was a ligament thing or I guess it's a sprain. So yeah, not very exciting there. Take it from the top though. Anthony Davis coming in at 10,000. We have seen him be outstanding for the Lakers. That should not be a surprise. He's averaging just shy of 29 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game. When LeBron's not out there, he's getting all the usage, which also is not a surprise. This could be a game. I mean, the Lakers are surprisingly, they're more competitive than I thought they were going to be. I thought that their lack of depth was really going to hurt them, but that just shows how good Anthony Davis is to change over the outcome of this team as compared to last year when it was LeBron and all the youngsters. How are you feeling about Davis at 10,000 even?
I think he's way too cheap. The salaries on Davis and LeBron really just don't make any sense.
Would you play them together?
I think you can, because it's only a 6-game slate. And with it being a road game at Chicago, like, Chicago's not a terrible team. The Lakers aren't a great team. And such a high percentage of Lakers production comes from those two guys. So they're both cheap enough where, it's not like they're 11-5 or 12K and you need like a 65, 70 point game to be happy. Obviously you would like that, and they give you that kind of potential. But if you get 55, 60 points at 9,600 from LeBron, and you get 60 from Davis at 10K, you're perfectly happy, and there's a good chance that they're the two highest scorers on the slate. So I do think they're fine in the same lineup.
Would it shock you to find out that Los Angeles has the second best record in the league?
Actually, yeah.
They are 5-1. Miami is also 5-1. Does that surprise you?
Yes, it does.
And Philadelphia 5-0. That should not surprise you.
No, not at all.
All right, but it's still early. All right, it's just an interesting one. Kevin Love has been a rebounding fiend. He is channeling his inner Andre Drummond. You've got him averaging 15 rebounds a game, 19 points per game. He gets an intriguing matchup against Boston. Remember, they've turned over their roster. No more Al Horford there in the middle, etc. So that's a decent spot there for Love. The downside with Love, he's now up to 8,800. We need him to make his shots. We need him to get his 35 minutes, but 8,800 gets to be a little less margin for error. Would you consider Love, or would you drop down 2,000 for a less than inspiring LaMarcus Aldridge, but against Atlanta?
I like the spot for Aldridge. He's been pretty disappointing this season, but the salary is just, I think, too good to ignore. You should still get 33, 34 minutes from him in a favorable matchup against the Hawks. He is up there with DeMar DeRozan as far as usage leaders on the team. So I think he's really, really underpriced, whereas Love has been really good, getting tons of rebounds, but his usage is down a bit this season, and there's just really a big price gap between him and Aldridge.
All right, so you're saying you would not pay for Love?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's why they have Bumble and Tinder these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Continuing down the pricing list, Lauri Markkanen, 6,300. You've got the enigmatic TJ Warren, who is at 6,000 even. I just can't do that. And then you've got Miles Bridges. Not very exciting either. This is falling off quickly. Oh, good God. Is it time to trust Jabari Parker?
Sorry, I thought there was something else coming after that.
No, other than the cupboard is bare.
Yeah. I don't really see it. You're probably getting like 22, 24 minutes from Parker. He's not super cheap. Miles Bridges is playing big minutes. Not a great matchup, not a great player, but he's an okay point per dollar option. Daniel Tice is still pretty cheap, but Enes Kanter is expected back, so that takes some appeal away from him. Yeah, I think Goga is probably the best value option at 4K.
I'm trying to Bidazi?
Yeah, I think.
All right. Ugh. Wow. That drops off pretty good there. Paul Millsap, 4,700. There's a reason he's 4,700. He's top 30 fantasy points twice. He has been below 20 fantasy points 3 times. No bueno there. But his partner...
I actually like Millsap because his minutes have really fluctuated this year, but it is a bigger Miami front court. And do we have Will Barton news?
We do not. He is still questionable.
So we saw Jeremy Grant actually getting minutes at the 3 last game for the first time this season. That potentially opens the door for Millsap to play a bit more. He played 28 minutes in that game. Grant played 21. But I think that either way, like we've seen against some of the bigger front courts, Millsap gets a little bit more playing time. And at 4,700, if you can get 28 to 30 minutes of Millsap, I think that's pretty appealing.
Does it bother you that Miami is a quicker team and Millsap is not as fleet of foot as he once was?
No.
Does it also surprise you that that Denver has a pace that rivals that of San Antonio and Memphis over the last 2 seasons?
Does it? Wait,
They're last in the league. But if you look at them across the last couple of years, it compares with the lowest teams in the last couple of years.
Talking about Denver?
Denver, yeah. I didn't realize they were that low.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been last so far this year.
Yeah, they were, I think, 3rd or 4th, if I remember correctly, last season. But, geez. Just to see it sitting there, you're like, wait, they're below Orlando, Utah, and New York? Yeah. When did that happen? So, I guess... they do play more in a half-court set, and when you're running things through the post, and you actually have a good team, unlike Detroit, I guess playing slower is going to be a byproduct of that. Interesting. All right, let's see if we can find some value. Ooh, Tristan Thompson, not a value, but boy, he has been at least a reasonable fantasy option, averaging 16.5 points, 11.5 rebounds. That's 40 fantasy points per game. It is being reflected in the price, but he is getting minutes now because, hey, Cleveland, why would they ever want to play anybody like Larry Nance Jr.? Talk to me about Thompson, maybe a little Cody Zeller in a decent matchup for him going against the big front court of Indiana. And then last guy is the unknown, PJ Washington. I don't know what to make of this guy. What do you like from the mid-tier?
From the mid tier, I think Zeller is interesting. He burned me against Golden State, only played about 20 minutes, still nearly doubled, but his rebound chances are among the league leaders this year. He's grabbing a unsustainably high percentage of them, but still getting tons of rebound opportunities, playing big minutes outside of the Golden State game, and like you said, a bigger Indiana front court. So he should definitely be out there for this. So I think that pretty appealing price tag on him. Tristan Thompson playing huge minutes, getting around a 20% usage rate this year. Decent spot there, but I think I would give the edge to Zeller.
All right, last guy, D12. That's Dwight Howard. He's playing 20, 25 minutes a game. Kind of varies based upon situation and opponent, but he has had 38 or more fantasy points in 2 of his last 4 games. Of course, in those games, he went 7 for 7 and 8 of 8. On the season, he is shooting just shy of 80%, playing 21 minutes per game on average. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but do we look to Dwight Howard?
It's just so tough with how many minutes he's playing. I mean, he played 21 minutes last game. He's obviously producing, but you're starting to get to a price point where, even if he goes for 30 or 35 points, it's good, but it's not like you have to have that to win. And the downside obviously is still really, really low.
All right, let's hit a few price per dollar plays here on FanDuel and Yahoo, presenting sponsor. If you guys have not yet signed up for Yahoo, go to the paragraph just above the primetime player section in the cash building block article. It's a free article that is provided every day by yours truly there, and courtesy of awesemo.com. So you'll have the link, the promo code, and the instructions on how to get $30 of a deposit match with your initial DFS deposit in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. Those are available for immediate use into any contest. They do have the $250,000 baller this weekend here for week 10. There'll be an article dropping Friday afternoon or Saturday morning for that one that is specific. I cashed 3 of my 5 teams that I put in there. Just missed profiting though, Adam. Very sad.
Yeah, I missed profiting by a large amount.
Yeah, it was not good times for the old NFL. My cash lineups have been just horrendous this week, and I split them, and half of them won and half of them lost. So I netted out to 0. It was very uninspiring. But let's talk some dollar values here on FanDuel. We've got power forward Daniel Tice, 4,200. You've got, Cody Zeller. Of course, that's going to cost us the center spot, so I don't think we want to go there, but he has 7,000. Potentially, we've got Trae Young coming in at 9,200. Now, that's not a value, but he is coming in at a very decent value ratio there. And then, Markelle Fultz, 4,700. Millsap, 45. DeAndre Bembry, 45. Trey Lyles, 36. Anything tickle your fancy?
I think that Dice and Millsap both are really favorably priced.
How about Marcus Smart with no Jaylen Brown? He has 5,600 to get rid of that pesky shooting guard spot.
Yeah, should get big minutes. Good matchup against Cleveland. I like Smart.
All right, and then Gary Harris at 52 as well. Not as dependent on what's going on with Will Barton these days. They both carved out their own starting roles and don't generally cut into each other as much. So 5,200, I don't hate that. Yeah, it's a little better for him if Barton isn't in, but it's not the end of the world if Barton does play. If we look over here at Yahoo, let's see what we can find for our listeners for some of the $10 values. You've got Markel Fultz, Daniel Tice. Oh, Daniel Tice is 12. You've got Fultz at 10. Goga Bitadze. Bitadze. Goga. I like it. Now I know why you called him Goga. He's 10. Cam Reddish is 10. If he gets another start, that's worthwhile. You've got Satoransky at 11. Terrence Ross at 10. Trey Lyles at 10. Yeah. Marvin Williams at 10. Anybody there? What?
Lots of value there.
Lots of value. Yeah. I don't hate any of those names I said. I wouldn't want to play more than 2 of them, but I don't hate them.
Yeah, and you probably won't need to.
Yeah, because again, at the top price, guys, we've got Davis is at 52, LeBron at 50, Trae Young 44, Jokic 44, Butler 39. So even if you worked in, say, a $35 Kevin Love, let's see, Shea Gilgeous Alexander at 30, and then LeBron or Anthony Davis, you've still got plenty of wiggle room there. So keep an eye on that. It's kind of a fun build over there on Yahoo, the presenting sponsor of the DFS Early Bird here on Awesemo.com. Any final thoughts, Adam?
Nope.
You can follow Adam on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. I am at EMACDFS. And of course, it is Awesemo_COM. With that, gamers, good luck.